Welcome back to the Inner Alchemist TV. In today's video, we are coming on to do our collective Huntsville Tarot reading. So before we get started, please like this video. Make sure that you are subscribed to this channel and also that you have your notification bells on. Alright, so let's just jump right in. Overall energy for this spread is the Seven of Wands. So the Seven of Wands is about defending yourself, right? It's usually about having the upper hand, and the reason that you have the upper hand is because you are in the right. And even though many people may be after you with their pitchforks, there's something about you that has the high ground. And again, that high ground being based on you being the one that's in the right? Now, there's the other side of the Seven of Wands that can represent defiance. And this being you going against the grain just because of a strong will. And like I said, failing to pivot. I think that the message over the last few collective readings that I've done has been get out, get out, get out. And this is somebody that's saying, nah, I'm not getting out. I'm getting in. I'm standing on business. I will not be moved. I will not be shaken. But at the same time, childishly defying all advice, all warnings, all red flags from the universe telling you, go, go, go. You're resisting. Maybe bowing down to what you consider the machine. But it can also be just you being at a point in your life where you're feeling very fierce and you're feeling very fearless and like nothing can stop you. And I understand that completely because that's kind of like where I'm at in my life. Now, I may not go out antagonizing things or bringing unnecessary situations into my life. But at the end of the day, I feel fierce. I feel fearless. So I can definitely resonate with that attitude. With the attitude of being able and willing to hold your own against multiple people coming from the left, right, and center. I get that. So somebody is feeling themselves or feeling in their bag as a kind of rites of passage probably for womanhood. I think I literally understand because I have literally been through that. I feel like the hostilities are still strong though. I feel like you're still very much outnumbered, but what's giving you the leg up is that you are courageous and that you are continuing to fight. I also feel like I don't want to say that you'll win the fight because this is the overall energy of the spread. Now, if this energy was in the past, I would say, okay, you already won. Let's get past it. So no, I feel like you're currently in the situation. You know what I mean? I feel like you're backed into a corner right now and maybe you dug a little hole for yourself or maybe even bitten off more than you can chew because now you really got to be ready to fight. You know what I mean? So now that you went around telling the universe, I'm fierce, I'm fearless, I'm ready, come and get me, the universe has answered your call. And he done brought the pain to your doorstep. So you better be ready because right now, like I said, I feel like you're backed into a corner, not really wanting other people to know maybe that you're backed into a corner. Or if you don't feel like you're backed into a corner, it's definitely about not getting yourself there. I feel like standing your ground is a good thing, but at the same time, I don't know. When I look at this card, I see a cliff, and it's making me wonder if maybe some people are pushing you to the edge. You know what I mean? Pushing you to the edge of a cliff and making you jump off yourself. I remember I was having this debate back in the day, right? In a pro-black space, and it's always this question of, well, what do black people do about like white supremacy? Like, how do we beat it? And you know, a lot of people is like, stay away from black people, you know, don't be the police, don't be the government, and you know, anything you do as a black person to join any of those forces, you're just a coon. And my thing was, sometimes you got to get in there and blow shit up from the inside. You know, sometimes you got to make people implode. When I think about being pushed to the edge of a cliff, like I'm looking at in this card, there's a simultaneous resonance for me of the statement, they made you implode. They about to make you blow yourself up, right? Driving you to the edge of crazy. Are you being pushed to the edge? I think that's what this question is asking you. So while we feel fierce and fearless and ready to fight and standing on business, you got to check in with yourself and ask yourself, is this part of the game? Is this part of the game? The reading is opening up with the Knight of Wands. That's moving too fast, fucked around and got your feelings hurt with the Three of Swords, clarified by the Three of Pentacles. This is not listening. The Three of Pentacles in reverse represents not listening. And it represents getting in something that doesn't really concern you, or attacking or going after something without understanding the pecking order. Now, that may be something that a lot of us are resisting, because remember, the Seven of Wands represents resistance. So maybe you resist the chain of commands. You've ever been at work and you have a boss that's getting out of line, and you don't even go to her direct boss because you don't trust them, because they in collusion. They don't do nothing about each other. So you go above and beyond all of them, and then they send you right back down to the chain of command. This is about the chain of command. And this is about, like I said, you not understanding your place. Now, as grown women, fierce, fearless, been through it, overcame much more simpler things than this. To me, this reminds me of the politics of friendships and working relationships with the Three of Pentacles in reverse. And I totally understand the rebellion against those things. I rebel against them myself. But there is politics. There is a pecking order. And you could choose to respect that or not. However it is here, right? This is about having resentment towards someone in particular because they're higher up on the change of command than you. And that being a motivation for you childishly digging your heels into something with this Page of Wands in reverse coming there in the unconscious energy. But in actuality, you may not have the experience to navigate a situation. And there may be a sense of you trying to figure out who's running shit or who's in charge. And the lesson here may be being for you to respect kind of like political, social hierarchies. Now, this is not about you playing small. You don't have to do that. But it's about navigating those with social power. I also feel like somebody is maybe pandering to somebody with this social power. Whoever is at the head of this pecking order, you have a bunch of people that are pandering to you, where maybe they're doing it just because you have the hierarchy and not because they necessarily agree with what you're saying. You know what I mean? This also represents some jealousy amongst the group or someone in your own circle that may be jealous of you because of the position that you hold. And I don't know, they're sowing discord because of the bitterness or the jealousy. Maybe you inadvertently hurt somebody's feelings, like I said, with this Three of Swords, moving too fast with this Knight of Wands, being careless with your words or your actions, not necessarily ill-intended, but moving too fast. Maybe there's somebody that's craving your attention. This is for the boss. This is for somebody who feels like they are the head of a tribe. And you know you are, right? I don't think we need to be in denial about that. I'm not the leader. I'm not this and that and the third. I think we say those things to appease other women and the crowd and not to come across as narcissistic. But if you're the boss, you're the boss. You earned it. You deserve to be there. But why are women so uncomfortable stepping into that and saying, this is my shit, I put this shit together, I built this shit, and I'm gonna protect this shit with all my might? Seven of Wands, protecting something with all your might. What's wrong with that? But you know in your mind you're the boss, and there's some people around you that have bitterness towards you because of that. And like I said, I think it's really just because you inadvertently hurt people's feelings. Maybe they're not getting the attention that they want from you. that specialized hand holding that some people crave from people in power. Whatever it is, like I said, somebody is getting bitter and they're sowing seeds of discord on purpose. Maybe to undermine you. Or maybe to gain control of the crowd. Like I always say, there's the pastor who's the head of the church, but there's the deacon or the bishop who's the head of the people. There's shadow governments in these groups. And that's how you end up with those cancerous situations when you have somebody getting close to your people while you're on the pulpit and then turning those helms left and right. Be careful. The Three of Swords is here. That represents strife. But again, the Knight of Wands is there also. And the Knight of Wands, I don't know, it's just bringing to me like a careless energy. But I'm not seeing anything so far. Well, I have the Seven of Swords down there. Premeditated as far as doing something on purpose. If anything, it just has to do with somebody being competitive. And listen, maybe somebody does have a bit of a temper, and maybe with that temper they go off and they hurt people. I feel like somebody has been competitive within their environment, and somebody has had a temper where they've gone off on people in a certain curt type of way, and they've hurt feelings and sown seed of bitterness and resentment to those who recognize this person as the top of the hierarchy or the top of the pecking order. Whether or not this is verbally expressed or not. But it's almost a sense of people having that kind of faith in you, or having that kind of standard, holding you to some type of standard that you may or may not have agreed to. And again, wanting to sow seeds of discourse to take you off of that because of the way that they have been hurt by you or ignored by you, etc. That's definitely what I'm saying. And then the Knight of Wands, though, also warns that if you are the boss or you are in charge, that you have a stronger responsibility to keep your immaturity at bay. I think within all of us women, there's a girl inside who's immature, who has her ways. You know what I mean? We like to clown a little bit. You know what I mean? Sometimes we like to make a mockery of people, and we may or may not ever outgrow that. But this is saying that listen, to whom much is given, much is required, right? The Page of Wands is here in reverse. This to me denotes the type of person that, again, has been childish and immature and been pushed to things like anger and aggression and nerve by other people. It's peer pressure more than anything. There's someone here that's going as far as they are from peer pressure and trying to be down and wanting to be seen and understood and validated by the crowd and respected for how they move, for what they get done or how they handle things individually. They want that. But the way that you're going about it or your desire has to do with childish needs of not being seen, not being understood, not being validated. And this is calling you to question your intentions, how you're approaching things, and why. You know what I mean? Like I said, sometimes you can have scores to settle for the little girl inside of you, and sometimes you just want to be down, right? We have the Hangman clarifying that in reverse. And again, this is about you sacrificing yourself to be down. You know what I mean? I feel like this Hangman is also reminding you not to sacrifice yourself in a way. And I feel like it's clarifying this Page of Wands because it's like saying, listen, you being childish and trying to win the approval of the crowd and be seen and be heard and all of that good stuff, don't sacrifice yourself in the process because you're going about things in a childish way. You know what I mean? The way you choose to stand on business, the way you choose to execute things, don't let that cost you, is what I feel like it's saying. Yeah, that's what I feel like it's saying. You're definitely in, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. I got the Eight of Pentacles here that represents a work environment with the Queen of Swords in reverse. This is an ex-working environment. The Queen of Swords cuts things away. Somebody's going to end up losing their job at the hands of an evil woman that may just be willing to go overboard to make a point with you. You know what I mean? But again, you have to bring to point some of your childish actions and how it has led to you sacrificing yourself to gain the approval of the crowd. You know what I mean? Somebody is with the Queen of Swords. This is a woman who's refusing to go back and forth with you, or refusing to battle wits with you, or refusing to none of that. You know what I mean? Like, this person got a stick up their ass. Like, you know, they may need to get their head pushed through the wall. You know what I mean? They may need to, you know, get a little something. But whatever the reason is, they don't see it for you. You know what I mean? This is a very harsh judge. And they've been brought to that point where, like I said, they're not going to be going back and forth with you. Their words are going to cut straight through the meat of the matter. And they're going to be willing to make decisions that other people may blink twice about making. They're not playing with you. You know what I mean? The Queen of Swords in reverse is very hard. And like I said, with that Eight of Pentacles, you have to watch that, because this person is a bitch. That's what the Queen of Swords is. She turns herself into that after she's done nurturing others, after she's done being patient with others. Now she's nitpicking, or being what they call petty, or splitting hairs over this and that, finding fault in everything you do, not looking at you in like that fair, objective light or compassion with that Queen of Cups like they were giving in the past. They're not looking for passes for you anymore. You know what I mean? Too much shit that they're dealing with in their regular life. Too much, like I said, you know, going on in the home front. You're going to be the last person to get that element of grace. So be careful, because you have to have your own back and not rely on people to keep some type of level of decorum and standards with you. That's out of the window. We have the Three of Wands. Somebody is trying to figure out their plan, like their plan moving forward. I think clarifying by the Two of Pentacles is just saying, I feel like it's just a juggling of the possibilities or the ways that they want to handle it. I feel like somebody's still trying to figure out how to get out of something, and how to I don't know, how to be graceful, or how to gracefully bow out. I feel like somebody's trying to figure that out. Right now, they feel like they're actively engaged in conflict, but they're really looking for ways to, I don't want to say throw in the towel. And then I got this Queen of Cups over here, and it's making me wonder if they're going to take like the victim's route, especially with the Seven of the Strength card here. This is making me feel like whoever this is that's trying to figure out how to gracefully bow out is going to use the victim card as their version of femininity. We know that as women, a lot of us can weaponize our femininity, our emotions, to get people to appeal to us, to get the crowd to appeal to us, to protect us. With the Moon card, this is showing things that are hidden that are about to come to light. And we have that clarified by the Seven of Swords, which is in reverse, which is, again, another message to me of confession. But this confession is going to have a victimhood or a victim story to it. But it's not all victims, because this is about, this is about your morals and you playing both sides of the fence because you want to level out the social playing field. Somebody doesn't think it's fair that there's a pecking order, or that there's a social hierarchy or a chain of command. And their whole thing, even with that Hangman, and we're talking about sacrifice earlier, their whole thing is, if I have to sacrifice myself to get things right around here, then I'm okay, because I want to even the playing field for everybody moving forward, because they don't believe in the idea of one person like being in charge, if you will. You know what I mean? So it's like, even though they're doing things that are unethical or that question morality, in their mind they're justifying it by saying, I'm doing it to achieve fairness and equality for everybody, because they're not just going to get away with this, or they're not just going to have all of this, or they're just not going to do all of that. You know what I mean? So they're rebelling for a reason, and maybe that may be how they're going to play into the quote unquote victim narrative. Maybe not so much to say victim, but to say like nobility, like I'm going to do this, like I have some type of noble, virtuous cause for the reason why I'm blowing this shit up. Yeah, it could be like this. And I also feel that somebody is studying somebody's moves and about to pull a U on you. You know what I mean? Somebody is planning something. And I feel like it's going to come as a surprise. This thing is full of surprises, especially as it comes to the tarot. You know what I mean? But again, this is somebody who is putting their information or things that they're learning into, I don't know, they're like scheming, like being devious. But in their mind, they're being devious to break down this social hierarchy or pecking order. You know what I mean? And their goal is to slay everybody. And I don't know, I don't want to say stand up to a bully, because there's not really any bully energy here. But like I said, it's more so to create social equity and even out the playing field. And make it very clear to everybody that nobody is running shit. You know what I mean? This may be a person that's like a person that's a double agent. I feel like they're spying on both sides. And maybe some of the secrets that people have going on have been revealed to them or shown to them, and they've decided to take matters into their own hand. I feel like this person might be moving in the shadows with this moon card. I think I saw somebody moving in the shadows not too long ago. But this person is gathering information from both sides and trying to create equity. Like I said, it may be the right intention, but the wrong method. But the method that they're choosing is based on what they've studied in their opponent. So from that perspective, would that make it the wrong method if I'm only pulling a U on you? Or is that kind of like, I don't know, like the chicken, what is that, like what's good for the goose is good for the gander? You know what I mean? I feel like that it has something to do with that. I feel like somebody is feeling like their own power. And I feel like they're feeling like their own power because the amount of stress and victimization that they've been through have been making them feel like there ain't no God. Like, if it was a God, why would you be allowing this to happen to me, or that to happen to me, or my enemies to prevail over me, or for me to have anxiety, or take so many losses, or be up at night crying when I didn't even do anything? Why would I be going through this if God really existed? So somebody is questioning, based on the things that they went through, if God is even looking out for them. And I mean, obviously the noble thing would be to say, yes, of course God is looking out for you. Of course God loves you. But at the end of the day, it is hard to hold on to that belief when you feel things are happening to you. But at the same time, underlying that feeling is you judging yourself. And sometimes you just have to repent. And you have to be honest about what you've put into this life. Like I always say, you might not reap where you sow, but you always reap what you sow. And to me, no matter what's happening to me, I can find myself in it. Not to blame myself, but in order to connect the dots. What you're looking at in your environment is you. It's you. Sometimes we are the poison. And the Judgment in Reverse is saying that in order for you to get rid of these feelings of guilt and anxiety and sleepless nights, you need to forgive yourself for something. And maybe search in the past and search about how you participated, because this is a big fat what goes around comes around. And this is about somebody also with that Nine of Swords being afraid of what going around about to be coming around. And maybe that's making you lose your faith in God. You can lose your faith in God all you want to, but this is just because you fear your karma. And you feel like separating yourself from God's judgment with the Judgment card or his moral standards will absolve you of your karma. And that's not true. It's coming. The Judgment card is also a card that another push for you to confess. Seven of Swords in reverse, another push for you to confess. Whatever story you need to tell or need to tell yourself, you got to get past the stage of not admitting that you're wrong. And get past trying to mindfuck yourself into believing that there's nothing above you that can punish you when you know that your life as it sits now feels like a living punishment. You got 9 swords. You're crying at night. Maybe hoping that you'll get away with something by, like I said, lessening your belief in God. But we looking at generational curses, whether they was put on you or I don't know. Listen, somebody may have tried to actively curse your bloodline. Okay? Because this is very much giving me sins of the father. It's very much giving me that some of this shit that you have going on, some of your actions are going to be perpetuated way into the future. However, there's still redemption with the Judgment card, even if it's reversed. It's still saying don't be too hard on yourself, but stop ignoring what you're being told to do, which is confess and bow out. Sometimes when we're hard on ourselves, it's because, in my opinion, I think it is because of shame and guilt. And I think that is clarified by the Nine of Swords. It's almost like you feel unredeemable and you don't go to God or you don't talk to God or you ignore his presence because you think that what you've done is so bad. You know what I mean? And so instead of you facing up and repenting, you try to avoid his eyes. And that's exactly the opposite of what you should be doing, because it's not like he doesn't know. And the Judgment card in reverse is telling you that it's never too late to change. Somebody. I feel like this message has permeated before. You need to jump ship. You need to jump ship. The Moon card is here. This is like crabs in a barrel. But you got to remember, the moon, this is nighttime. This is dark. This is dogs guarding the gates and howling at the moon. And this is people trying to keep you, pull you back, crabs in a barrel, keep you down in the deep, so that you don't pivot and you don't make the change. Remember, people have to protect their own interests. And you getting that attack of conscience, or you trying to go do the virtuous right thing, that may be a detriment to somebody else. But it's like, there goes the hangman. There it comes full circle. That's the sacrifice. Are you going to sacrifice your own redemption for those around you? Or are you going to step into your salvation and pivot and let them figure their own shit out? Because we just saw in the last reading that they was trying to throw you under the bus anyways. Sacrificing you, setting you up as the fall guy anyways. So trace yourself back to the beginning of all this and ask yourself, how did I get in it? Wouldn't anyone say, how did I get in this? How did you get in this? And from that initial role, from you maybe jumping in to create social equity, maybe trying to make things fair, are you in too deep to now where it's all on you? And where the fuck is everybody else at? How did this disintegrate into being your fight? Where are the original fighters? Where are they? Where are they? Where are your friends at? That's what I think this reading is asking you. The moon is about you reemerging from those dark shadows that the crabs in a barrel took your ass to, and crawling out and realizing that God is still here, and you can deny his existence all you want to, but he's waiting for you, and he doesn't care how far off the bend you went. You need to show your face. And I got multiple cards of confession. however you need to put it. Queen of Cups is here. That's conveying emotion. The Strength card is here. That's being feminine and strong about how you reveal your truth. But that seems to be the only way out. Making amends. Making amends. You have to make amends. Anyways, listen, the choice is always yours. I'm just the messenger. I would say you can shoot the messenger, but honey, I've already gained my immortality. You could try, but it just might bounce off of me and stick to you, so I'd be very careful. But anyways, listen, I'm just joking. That's my message. Let me know what you guys think down in a comment. Please like this video. Make sure that you are subscribed to this channel and that you have your notification bells on. And of course, I want you guys to visit me on the Inner Alchemist at Etsy. I specialize in this: cleansing energy, alchemizing energy, blocking negativity, working on your self-confidence, putting tangible energy into yourself, and making a decision that you want to live your best life. And a lot of this shit just can't go with you. Like, let's keep it real, right? Anyways, I will see you guys on the next video, where I think I'm gonna be revisiting Wanda, because show enough ain't been talking around here, and we gonna get all up in your business, girl. And I hope you guys enjoy this video. Peace.